René Descartes was a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist, widely regarded as one of the most influential thinkers in Western philosophy. Born in 1596, Descartes' intellectual contributions span a variety of disciplines, but he is most famous for his work in the field of philosophy, where his ideas revolutionized the way we think about knowledge, existence, and the relationship between the mind and the body. Descartes' philosophical approach is often referred to as Cartesian thought, and it marks a pivotal turning point in the history of philosophy, particularly in his break from the medieval scholastic tradition and the development of a new, modern approach to knowledge. At the core of Descartes' philosophy is his pursuit of certainty. He sought a foundation for knowledge that was absolutely secure, something that could not be doubted, no matter how skeptical one might be. Descartes' method for achieving this certainty was radical. He began by doubting everything. This extreme skepticism led him to the famous conclusion, Cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. In other words, the very act of doubting one's existence proves that one exists as a thinking being. This insight became the cornerstone of Descartes' philosophy and laid the foundation for his further inquiries into the nature of reality, the mind, and the world around us. Descartes' skepticism, which led him to doubt the existence of the external world, the reliability of sense perception, and even the existence of God, was a direct challenge to the intellectual traditions of his time. Medieval philosophers, influenced by the teachings of Aristotle and the Christian Church, had emphasized the importance of sensory experience and faith as sources of knowledge. In contrast, Descartes argued that knowledge must be built on a foundation of indubitable certainty. By doubting everything that could be doubted, Descartes was able to identify a single undeniable truth: his own existence as a thinking being. From this point, he sought to reconstruct a secure foundation for all other knowledge. In his work, Meditations on First Philosophy, Descartes systematically explores the nature of knowledge, the existence of the external world, and the mind-body problem. In the first meditation, Descartes sets out to doubt everything he can, including the existence of the external world and even his own body. He considers the possibility that an evil demon could be deceiving him, causing him to believe in a false reality. This radical skepticism leads Descartes to question not just the physical world, but the very nature of his own perceptions. In the second meditation, Descartes arrives at his famous conclusion, Cogito, ergo sum. He realizes that even if an evil demon is deceiving him, the fact that he is being deceived means that he must exist as a thinking being. This insight marks the beginning of Descartes' attempt to rebuild knowledge from a foundation of certainty. He argues that Descartes was deeply concerned with the relationship between the mind and the physical world, and he believed that scientific knowledge could be obtained through reason and systematic inquiry. His work in mathematics and physics, particularly his development of Cartesian coordinate geometry, helped lay the foundations for modern scientific methodology. Descartes' emphasis on doubt, skepticism, and the search for certainty provided a new framework for scientific investigation, one that was rooted in reason rather than authority or tradition. One of Descartes' most important contributions to the development of modern science was his emphasis on the role of mathematics in understanding the natural world. Descartes believed that the physical world could be understood through mathematical principles, and he developed a new system of geometry that allowed him to represent geometric shapes algebraically. This innovation, known as Cartesian geometry, laid the groundwork for the later development of calculus by Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Descartes' work in mathematics and physics was instrumental in shaping the scientific revolution of the 17th century, and his influence on the development of modern science cannot be overstated. Despite his monumental contributions to philosophy and science, Descartes' ideas were not universally accepted in his time. His skepticism, particularly his doubt about the existence of the external world, was seen as deeply radical and even heretical by some of his contemporaries. His dualism, which posited a separation between the mind and the body, also faced criticism from philosophers who believed in a more unified conception of human existence. In particular, the problem of how the mind and body interact was a source of much debate and has continued to be a central issue in philosophy of mind to this day. Descartes' philosophy has also been criticized for its reliance on reason and its disregard for the importance of sensory experience. Critics argue that Descartes' emphasis on reason as the primary source of knowledge leads to an overly abstract and disembodied view of the world. Moreover, his skepticism about the reliability of the senses has been challenged by philosophers who argue that sensory experience is a necessary and valid source of knowledge. Descartes' method of doubt, while groundbreaking, has also been criticized for being overly radical and for failing to account for the richness and complexity of human experience. Despite these criticisms, Descartes' philosophy remains a cornerstone of modern thought. His emphasis on reason, skepticism, and the search for certainty laid the foundations for much of modern philosophy and science. His ideas about the nature of knowledge, the mind-body problem, and the existence of God continue to shape philosophical debates to this day. Descartes' influence extends beyond philosophy to fields such as psychology, neuroscience, and cognitive science, where his ideas